Hello everyone, welcome back. My name is JD Sharma and you are watching ENGLIT. This is the second part of the ongoing MCQs series on the important MCQs and their comprehensive explanation. Through these MCQs, you will get to know various lesser known facts and exam oriented points about 20th century literature. This video will be quite helpful for all the aspirants of NTA-NET examination, TGT, PGT and various other university entrance examinations. So let's start the video. The very first question is, who among the following is not from the Auden Group or the poets of the 30s? And the options are whether it is Stephen Spender, Wilfred Owen, C.D. Lewis or Louis MacNeice. And the correct answer is Wilfred Owen does not belong to this Auden Group. Actually, what is Auden Group or the poets of the 1930s? Actually, it was a group of British and Irish writers who were active in 1930s. And who were these poets or writers? Stephen Spender, C.D. Lewis was there, Louis MacNeice was there, W.H. Auden. That's why it is Auden Group. Auden means W.H. Auden. He led the group, that's why it is known after his name, or he was the important person of this group. Apart from these poets, Christopher Isherwood was also there, and sometimes Rex Warner is also included. So these were the poets who were associated with this Auden Group or the poets of 30s. They are also called 30s poets. All of them were colleagues and educated at Oxford and Cambridge. All these poets had left-wing views, left-wing leanings and went of mind. So their inclinations, their opinions and their views were related to left-wing politics. It is also to be noted that these poets, though they shared their same opinion, but they never ever shared the same room so as to confer, so as to make conferences or so as to formulate some theories simultaneously. However, this is also to be noted that some of them they had worked together, like Auden, C.D. Lewis, MacNeice and Spender. They had shared the same room in 1953. They collaborated on some views. Particularly, it is mentioned in The Buried Day. Buried Day is an autobiography of C.D. Lewis. Sometimes two of them or three of them they worked together. Like Auden and Christopher Isherwood, they worked on 3 plays. The plays were Dog Beneath the Skin, The Ascent of F6 and On the Frontier. So these 3 plays were written by both Auden and Christopher Isherwood. W.H. Auden and Louis MacNeice, they also worked together on travel book. And what was the name of that travel book? Letters from Iceland. That was published in 1937. So likewise, some of them they worked together. But as far as working of all of these people together was rare. This group is also known by the name 30s poet and the new poetry of 30s. Similar to this group was Max Ponde. Max Ponde was the name given by Roy Campbell. He gave this name in his book Talking Bronca that was published in 1946. So in his book he referred to 4 poets and the initial of those 4 poets make this Max Ponde. Who are these poets whose initials make this title? First it was Louis MacNeice, so it is Mac for Louis MacNeice. Stephen Spender, initials have been taken from Stephen Spender, so SP for Stephen Spender. W.H. Auden for AUN, on, and C.D. Lewis, so Day. The complete is Max Ponde. The spelling will be MACSPAUNDAY. So Max Ponde is the acronym by the initials or the letters from these poets. So it was the name given by Roy Campbell in his Talking Bronca. Actually, he rejected the romantic ideal of W.H. Auden. So he referred to these poets because these poets they had also shared the same kind of ideology. And these poets they also shared the same kind of left-wing views and Marxist and anti-fascist doctrine. So these 4 poets they shared the same views and that's why Roy Campbell mentioned these 4 poets. And he created one group that was Max Ponde. So it is also in some or other way related to this Auden group. Since W.H. Auden was the leading poet, that's why the group name is Auden Group. And he was so much influencing kind of character that the critic Harold Bloom in his The New Republic, he said that Auden was accepted as not only a great poet but also a Christian humanist sage, not because of any conspiracy among moralizing non-Christian academics, but because the age required such a figure. Next question is, which of the following is Thomas Hardy's The Novel of Ingenuity? Thomas Hardy himself categorized all his novels into three categories. First is novels of characters and environment. Second is romances and fantasies. And third category is novels of ingenuity. They are also called the novels of sensation. So out of these four novels, which novel falls in the category of novels of ingenuity? Whether it is A Pair of Blue Eyes, Laodicean, Jude the Obscure, and Under the Greenwood Tree. And the correct answer is, it was Laodicean. Novels of ingenuity are marked by the quality of being cleverly inventive or resourceful. These novels show frequent disregard of the probable in the chain of events. Actually, the plot depends for their interest mainly on the incidents themselves. So whatever is shown on the plot is based, or it is mainly dependent on the events themselves. So events are sometimes cleverly inventive, and then they are resourceful. Apart from this Laodicean, other novels that fall in this category are Desperate Remedies, The Hand of Ethelberta. So these three novels fall in the category of novels of ingenuity. Thomas Hardy put these three novels in this category in the general preface to the 1912 Wessex edition, because in his own words, these novels show not an infrequent disregard of the probable in the chain of events and depend for their interest mainly on the incidents themselves. So he justifies these three novels to be in this category in these words. So because of this quality of just making the novels of sensation, T.S. Eliot says about Thomas Hardy that he was a worthy successor of Dickens and Wilkie Collins, his best novels superbly combining the dramatic and the melodramatic. So the name The Novels of Ingenuity was given by Thomas Hardy himself. The novel A Laodicean is also known as The Castle of the De Stances, and it has a subtitle, A Story of Today. So in what way it is the novel of ingenuity? What is cleverly inventive in this novel? Actually, Thomas Hardy made the use of falsified telegrams and faked photographs, so-called edited photographs in today's terminology. So the telegrams were falsified in order to deceive something, and the photographs were fake. So this kind of element was used by Thomas Hardy back in 19th century. Next question is, which of the following Enoch Arnold Bennett's novels is a long, realistic novel which traces the steady evolution of the potteries from the age of Victoria towards modern times? Was it Riceman Steps, The Stroin, The Grand Babylon Hotel, or Old Wives' Tales? And the correct answer is, it was Old Wives' Tales. That is a realistic novel, and it traces the evolution of potteries from the age of Victoria. Some of the works of Arnold Bennett are highly provincial. Provincial means he sets the background of some of his works particularly in some area, and the development of that area is also dealt with in these novels, or is shown in these novels, particularly the development of potteries. So in his novels the background has been set where potteries develop from Victorian age to modern times. Other novels where he used the same kind of background or the evolution of potteries in the Anna of Five Towns and the Clayhanger family. Clayhanger families, Anna of Five Towns, and Old Wives' Tales. All these three novels fall in the same background and then deal with the life and the works and the evolution of potteries from early Victorian age to modern times. The novel Old Wives' Tales narrates the personal and cultural history of industrial Staffordshire and its adherence to conventions of realism and its regional subject matter. So Five Towns is a region that he created, and this region falls in Staffordshire. So in one sense, Arnold Bennett is also a regional novelist. This region he has recreated in Anna of Five Towns, the Clayhanger family, and Old Wives' Tales. And what is potteries? Actually, it is ceramic production that is started in 17th century in Staffordshire. And why it was Staffordshire? Actually, the resources like clay, salt, lead, and coal, they were very much abundant in this area. So the industrial revolution has been shown in these three novels. And apart from this, what kind of realistic life the characters led there, the people led there, and what were their religious and cultural opinions, cultural beliefs. This all has been realistically portrayed in these three novels. And because of this realistic portrayal or the element of realism, he has been attacked. Arnold Bennett has been attacked by Virginia Woolf as well. Virginia Woolf calls him the old guard. So who is referred to as old guard by Virginia Woolf? It is Arnold Bennett, because his style was traditional rather than modern. According to Virginia Woolf, he lacked modernity, he lacked innovative technique, though he belonged to 20th century, but his style was traditional, realistic portrayal of the society, their needs, their beliefs, their cultural habits, and all this. Virginia Woolf wanted the writers to do something innovative, as she herself did. Next question. Kailyard School is a term applied to the writers of a group of Scottish writers who wrote on religious sacrifices of the poor, or it was applied to the writers of a class of romantic fiction affecting to describe with much use of vernacular common life of Scotland, or is it a term applied to the writers of a group of an Irish novelists writing on the growth of Irish regionalism, or it was simply a group of writers, a class of classical prose imposing? And the correct answer is Kailyard School is a term applied to the writers of a class of romantic fiction who affect to describe the common life of Scotland. And who are the writers that belong to this group, Kailyard School? The best known is J. M. Barrie, J. J. Bell, S. R. Crockett, and Ian McLaren. These four writers, they belong to this Kailyard School. These writers wrote stories about Scottish peasant life late in 19th century. The term Kailyard School derives from Jacobite song. There grows a bonny briar bush in our Kailyard. Kailyard means kitchen garden. So the plot of all these novels by these writers revolves around the household chores and household life. Ian McLaren, he chose this Kailyard as the motto of his book Beside the Bonny Briar Bush, that was published in 1894. And as such, some of these writers, they also shared the same kind of thought process, and they also dealt with the same kind of plot structure or themes. So they were associated with this Kailyard School. These writers exploited the sentimental and romantic image of small town life in Scotland. It was a vogue, it was a trend that lasted from 1880s to the end of 19th century. So these novels were overtly sentimental. In them was the representation of rural life, cleansed of real problem and issues that affected the people but proved for a time extremely popular. Next question is, the conflict is not really between royalty and democracy. It is between both and plutocracy, which having destroyed the royal power by frank force under democratic pretext has brought and swallowed democracy. George Bernard Shaw opined this in the preface of his play Identify the Play. George Bernard Shaw is mainly known for his dramas of ideas, and his prefaces of his plays are equally important and popular. In those prefaces, he told about his philosophy of life, his ideology of life, his viewpoint about the society and politics and democracy, and various other issues which were prevalent in society that time. So he gave this statement in one of the prefaces. Which was the play? Was it Pygmalion, The Applecart, Back to Methuselah, or Doctor's Dilemma? And it was the play Applecart. Applecart is also known as, or the subtitle is, a political extravaganza. So the statement clearly shows that it is related to something, democracy or politics, and the same theme is dealt with in Applecart. What is the meaning of Applecart? Critic A.C. Ward tells that the title has been taken from an old English proverb, according to which a person is said to upset the apple cart. This is a proverb, to upset the apple cart. And when a person upsets the apple cart, when he spoils or frustrates someone else carefully arranged plans. So when some person has some carefully arranged plans and other person does not want him to succeed, so he spoils and frustrates all his efforts. This person is said to upset the apple cart. So the title is taken from this proverb. जब बहुत मेहनत से कोई कुछ काम करना चाहे और दूसरा पर्सन जिसने मेहनत कभी की ना हो and he does not like this person to succeed in his life, so he tries to frustrate his efforts, he tries to spoil his labor, his work. So this person, the later person, is said to be upsetting the apple cart. So in the present context, this refers to the attempt at the overthrowing of existing and well established order, customs and traditions. When someone tries to overthrow the existing and well established order and customs and tradition, so he is said to upset the apple cart. And the play suggests both the possibilities. In the play, some character tries to overthrow the well established democratic ideals and democratic order. So the preface of this play, Applecart, gives his views on democracy, constitutional monarchy, on socialism and capitalism, and their role in democracy. That's why he says that conflict is not really between royalty and democracy. The battle is not between what is better, royalty or democracy. Actually, the real conflict lies in the battle between royalty, democracy and plutocracy. Plutocracy means a kind of government where the wealthy people want to rule. So who wants to rule the state? It is royalist or democratic people or the people who own so much money. And what is the outcome of that conflict? It is plutocracy, which tries to destroy democracy and royalist. It is through power of money that destroys the ideals of both the royalist and the democrats. And this is very true in the present political system as well. Whatever political system we are in, whether we call it democratic political system, but some or other way it is the plutocrats, the wealthy people who rule the state. They fund the political party and as such they get their both and met. The government after the formation tends to have a soft corner for these wealthy people, these plutocrats. So in that sense, plutocracy runs the government, and that is what he tries to say in this quotation. In the same preface, G.B. Shaw also says, money talks, money prints, money broadcasts, money reigns, and the kings and the labor leaders alike have to resist its decrees and by a staggering paradox to finance its enlistings and guarantee its profit. So it is all about money. Political winning and political ruling is all about money. Money dominates everything. Money dominates the ideology. Money dominates the kind of order. And for what? For its own profit. Money begets money in the end. Money is invested in the political propaganda and in the favoring of some political party, and after the formation of that government, this money profits itself. So this kind of views he wanted to show through this play, The Applecart. He himself says that I write plays with the deliberate object of converting the nation to my opinion. I have no other incentive to write plays. So it is said about G.B. Shaw that his dramas are the dramas of ideas. The material of his plays is the mental substance in which modern life is lived. G.B. Shaw describes the play, The Applecart, as a comedy in which a king defeats an attempt by his popularly elected prime minister to deprive him of the rights to influence public opinion through the press and the platform. In short, to reduce him to a cipher. The king's reply is that rather than be a cipher, he will abandon his throne and takes his obviously very rosy chance of becoming a popularly elected prime minister. In the play, King Magnus is in some or other way is Shaw himself, G.B. Shaw himself. He is the mouthpiece of G.B. Shaw. And here is the question for you guys. You have to tell the answer in the comment box. The question is, which of the following literary group derived its philosophy from George Edward Moore's Principia Ethica? By far the most valuable things are the pleasures of human intercourse and the enjoyment of beautiful objects. It is they that form the rational ultimate end of social progress. So which group we are talking about? Whether it is Bloomsbury group, New England group, Barbizon school group, or none of the above? You have to tell the answer. And this is all for now. Hopefully this video added something to your existing knowledge of 20th century literature. For any of your queries, you can comment in the description box. If you feel this video is worth watching, like this video. and share it among the deserving candidates who are preparing for various examinations like NTA-NET, TGT, PGT or entrance test of various universities. And please don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you are watching this video for the first time. Keep learning, stay motivated. Thanks for watching.